Hello, everybody. Welcome in. It is from the Bleachers here on the Fan Sports Network. Caden Formaster, Mark Musgrave.
The voice you know.
We're streaming live on YouTube. It's been a while.
It has been a while.
Been a while.
And yes, those of you that are maybe watching, no, I haven't lost any weight, but I still
recently.
Yeah, not recently.
You haven't lost weight recently, but you have lost weight over the course of
13 months.
Yeah. You feel like you've hit a spot though that you're kind of sticking strong at, but you're still looking good though.
Yes,
you're still good.
I've flatlined.
That's not a bad.
No, and I'm
thing.
okay where I'm at.
Yeah,
I
you're
feel
in a good spot.
I would have liked to have gone like an additional 5 to 8 pounds more.
Sure.
Then the holidays came around. Hey, kind of a funny story, interesting story. First off, Coach Walker Classic, we got through it.
We did. It was fun.
Lots of games. We did get through it here with the Fan Sports Network. I think we broadcast pretty much, other than Thursday, because we had Thursday night football commitments, we pretty much broadcast every Region 9 game, right?
Hey, we broadcast
pretty
what
close.
We could. We were actually, here's the thing, we were actually going to broadcast even more.
Yeah.
And then people were out of town. People had other things. So we were actually going to broadcast every single region game. That was the plan. And then we ended up broadcasting every game from at least one gym. So the first day we broadcast all the games from Pineview except for Cedar, but we covered Cedar the next day. So we covered every single team that was in the Coach Walker Classic except for a couple. We did not cover Desert Hills. And I know Hurricane was kind of in there as well, but we didn't cover them either. We didn't cover Hurricane or Dixie over the weekend, but Dixie was up north. So
now I will
those
tell
are the
you,
teams we did not get to.
Thursday night at the Thunderdome, Desert Hills Thunder hosting the Spanish Fork Dons, undefeated. Oh no, it's not Spanish Fork. Logan was undefeated when we beat them, but we were hosting Spanish Fork, and Desert Hills beat them 63-62 on a Ben Chase. A leaping leaner, as Hot Rod Hundley would call it, with about 7 seconds left. Anyways, ended up being the game winner.
Yeah.
After the game, this gentleman, this fine-looking gentleman, by the way, okay, beautiful white beard.
Ooh, I wonder who that could have been.
That's funny that you say that, but
tis the season, right?
This gentleman, very, very nice gentleman, beautiful white beard. I wanted to go up and just kind of pet it a little bit. He's a listener up in Cedar City.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Shout out to our Cedar City crew.
Yeah. Is it 93.1?
93.1.
93.1.
93.1.
So he goes, he talks, he kind of calls me over. He was just sitting just adjacent to me, maybe 6 feet to my left. And he goes, "Hey, you going to talk about this on Friday?" And I just kind of played it like, yes, I was, even though my brain wasn't working fast enough to say, "Oh no, we won't have a show tomorrow," which was Friday.
Yeah,
because we have other Region 9 games to cover. But he goes, "I got to tell you a story." So I'm listening to his story. He's a listener. Okay, he listens to our show most days, Monday through Friday, and he said, he goes, "Why does this guy," talking about me, "why does this guy say that he's the voice I know?" He goes, "Dad, burn it, I don't know that voice." Then he comes down to the Thunderdome, and he's sitting there, and he hears me do my starting lineups and all that kind of stuff, and he says, he goes, "Dad, burn it, I do know that voice. It's the voice I know."
Yeah, you're like, "Hey, anyway, I know that voice."
It was kind of funny. And again,
that is funny.
Just a beautiful beard. I hope he's listening right now, because Macy, I don't know if I should tell. No, I should tell the story.
Okay.
Macy goes, "How much would you give me?" Though this is like during the game. Okay. She said, "How much would you give me if I went over, sat on his lap, and said, 'I've been a really nice girl this year'?" I said, "I would give you $100 of Gene Van Orton's money," because Gene was sitting right in front of us. But anyways, it was he was very kind, and I want to say thank you to our Cedar City listeners.
Yeah.
And hope I did that story somewhat justice. I don't know if I did or not, but it was a lot of fun. And at the Thunderdome, the next night, Desert Hills beats Logan, and they were undefeated at the time. They were 5 or 6-0 at the time, and then played a very good Green Canyon team on Saturday. Played them really shot for shot midway through the third quarter against Green Canyon. Desert Hills went cold for just about 3 trips down on the offensive side, and Green Canyon didn't. And they kind of took a 7 to 9 point lead in that little stretch and ended up beating Desert Hills, I think, by about that much. But Green Canyon is legit, and I believe they are still undefeated. In fact, I looked up the RPI, and they are RPI number 1 in 4A.
Wow. I mean, that's what I've heard, is that they're really good. I haven't seen them
Probably
probably
the best, most crisp passing team that I've seen so far. And I will tell you that Gene Van Orton, who does our shot clock for boys basketball, he actually commented on that as well. Probably the best passing team that he has seen. And again, they've just got some really good players. They're aggressive. But I will say Desert Hills played them pretty much shot for shot up until, like I said, about a 3-minute span midway through the third quarter. They missed a couple of threes, maybe 3 threes. Green Canyon would go down and score on each of those possessions, and that's where they kind of took a lead and didn't look back. Fun game, though. Fun game.
We had some really good games this weekend with the Coach Walker Classic. We had, just on that Thursday alone, there were 2 overtime games. One of them was Region 9 game, and that was Snow Canyon took that game into overtime on Thursday. And again, just some great basketball all across the board. So pulling up some of the scores from specifically Thursday, we started off with Cedar, 79-76 win over Slam, which still has to be one of the best names for a school ever.
Very
Slam.
cool name, yeah.
I love it, especially for playing basketball. It makes perfect sense. Snow Canyon, went to overtime against Cottonwood, but could not get the ball to drop in overtime, and they lost that one 59-54. And then we had, not at the Coach Walker Classic, but a tough game for Dixie. They lost to Orem 55-53. They had the lead going into the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
But Orem put up 19 to Dixie's 11. And took it to them there in the fourth. And, Dixie had to walk away with the L for that one. We talked about Desert Hills. They had a great Thursday. Spanish Fork, 63-62, 1-point win. And they just held them off. Spanish Fork was making a run.
They made a run. It was such a fun game to be a part of, no question about it.
And Pineview beat Manti. And we knew Manti was actually going to be a tough team. Manti, one of the better teams in 3A this year. Mm-hmm. And Pineview got them 60-51. It was a shootout in the fourth quarter, just an absolute shootout, back and forth. But Pineview, they got up early. I think they got it within Manti had kind of come back. They got it within about 4 at one point, but Pineview just brought it back out. They had an 11-point lead and kind of held that for a while, 11-9, and they finished with the 9-point win.
Manti right now is number 5 RPI in 3A right now. South Summit, they're 11-0, number 1. Emory, number 2. Juab, number 3. Ogden, number 4. Manti, number 5. And I'm going to mention number 6 just because they're local. Canyon View, number 6.
Very good. And then Crimson Cliffs was the final game of the night. They lost to Ridgeline, and that's tough. Ridgeline's really good, and Canyon View still trying to figure out what their identity is a little bit. That one was 72-46. Crimson losing. But Friday, a little change of pace. Again, part of the Coach Walker Classic means lots of back-to-back games here. So Friday's games, taking a look at some of those scores. This was a fun day for me. I enjoyed Friday's games. Mm-hmm. I want to step back to Thursday for just a second. So we talked about Thursday, how we were at the Eureka Casino Resort, as we are on Thursdays.
Correct.
We finish up Thursday, 6:00 at Eureka. There's a game following us that we were broadcasting, It did not get started until about 6:30. We were pulling into town right as it was getting started, and it was, again, over at Pineview High School. That was the Snow Canyon game. That game went into overtime. And then there was another game, and I was on the call for the final game of the night, supposed to start at 9 o'clock, and it starts at 9:45.
Oh, my goodness.
And so we were on the broadcast until about, it was about 11:30 by the time we wrapped up the broadcast.
Was that the call that you and Ben were on?
No, that one was me and Spencer.
Oh, that was on Friday then that I was listening to a little bit. So.
Yeah. Friday was me and Ben.
Quick story, too, about Thursday and Thursday Night Football. When we finished up over here at Desert Hills, we got into our car. I turn on the fan, and it was CBS National, okay, because between games and there was some time, so we shot it to National. However the guy worded it was incorrect, because both Macy and I both thought that the Raiders were losing 56-7 at the time, or something like 63-14 or something. And we just kind of both laughed and, turned it to music, because we obviously didn't want to hear any more about the Raiders getting blown out.
As they normally do.
The next day at pickleball, a buddy of mine, Hayes, goes, "Hey, how about that Raider win last night?" I'm like, "What are you talking about, dude? They got blown out." He goes, "No, they did the blowing out." And I'm like, that CBS guy, however he worded it, had both of us thinking that the Raiders were the one getting blown out. That's why it's very important to make sure you say things correctly.
Yeah.
As broadcasters, as radio guys, that kind of stuff.
It's so funny, because I was just talking to some of our crew about this, because I was doing play-by-play over the weekend. I did play-by-play for 3 of the 4 games that we broadcast this weekend. And we were talking about doing play-by-play and how when it's on radio, you have to paint the picture.
Yeah.
You have to try to explain as much as you possibly can. And when it's on just a stream, just on TV, you can let so much go.
There's more liberties.
There's a lot more liberties that you can take. And we were just having this conversation about that, about radio versus just being able to do a stream. And I remember specifically saying, you have to say the score. You have to say, and it's so much more than just being like, the score is 25-12. Okay, well, who's 25? Who's 12? You have to be very, very precise about what you're saying and how you're saying it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's just things like that, and you have to say it often enough that if someone's just tuning in and you just said it 2 minutes ago, okay, well, they just tuned in. They don't want to go the next 5 to 10 minutes without hearing the score.
Yeah.
It might sound like I'm saying a lot, and I probably am saying it a lot, but we want to make sure that everyone who is catching the game at whatever time on the radio side knows exactly where we're at, and they're caught up to speed as soon as possible.
And as we've been getting better at this, we just bring that up because we've actually had people tell us, and it's people within our building, "Hey, I got into my truck. It's at so-and-so. I went to Walmart and never heard a score." So, and that's positive feedback. We want to hear that kind of stuff so we can make the calls better, and so that And just a little pet peeve of mine is I'm such a proponent of always saying the higher score first. And I don't care if we're covering, Crimson versus Ridgeline. Let's just say one local team and one non-local team. Crimson is hosting. If Crimson is up, Crimson's up, 56-48, okay? Or Crimson is down 56-48. I am just, and I don't know if there's any type of broadcasting etiquette or anything like that, but I am such a proponent of having the larger number first, the lower score second, and then obviously you're filling the holes, the cracks in with Desert Hills is up 52-48 or what have you.
Yeah.
You know.
I think I do that without even thinking about it.
I hope so.
Because it just makes more sense to say the bigger score.
I haven't seen anything I haven't heard
anything of the contrary.
Yes,
at least,
exactly.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah, I feel like I do that just normally because that's how it feels better to do that. It feels, like if I'm saying it's 12-26, I'm like, ooh, this just feels weird.
Yeah,
it feels weird.
Yeah. Now I have seen it, not with you, but I have seen it on our text where they'll use the lower score first and then the higher score second.
Yeah.
and it just throws me off a little tiny bit.
I get that. Yeah, it's kind of weird.
But anyways,
how that works.
Yeah. However, that CBS guy said it was wrong, and I thought the Raiders were losing. I went to bed not mad, but I went to bed
It's like, here we go again.
like, oh well, that helps the draft pick at least. You know?
Yeah, you're a little flustered and frustrated, maybe. I want to finish up the scores from the games from at least we're talking with the boys right now, boys basketball from over the weekend. This is Friday's scores. So Snow Canyon face off against Maple Mountain. Maple Mountain gets the win 60-53 over the Warriors. And then it was Manti and Cedar. And I got to tell you, Cedar gave them a game. Cedar put up a really, really good game against them. That third quarter, though, Manti went off and outscored them 24-14, and then again outscored the Reds 22-16 in the fourth. So it was back and forth most of that second half. Really good, though. This is the first game that I've seen from Cedar at all.
Yeah,
and I know they've struggled this season, but after watching that game, I'm like, okay, there's a competitive fire in them.
Yeah.
They have to work on some things defensively for sure. They've got some shooters that are able to get some shots off, especially if they can create open shots. They've got some shooters. They don't have a lot of guys that can create shots like other teams do, but they have good shooters. Anyway, so yeah, again, they lose 72-63. Dixie gets the win in overtime. A lot of overtime games this weekend against Timpview. This was at Timpview. They get the overtime win 74-73. And Desert Hills, we talked about that game against Logan. They took down Logan, who was looking really good this season, 65-54. Then we go to Hurricane, beat Delta. That one was a game at home for Hurricane, 72-66. And then Crimson Cliffs in a nail-biter against Riverton. You know, they go from struggling against Ridgeline, then they have to go play up to their opponent. I will say this one was one that it came down to a call from an official.
That's what I heard.
And here's the thing. It's one of two things. There was a shot clock violation against Crimson.
Okay.
Had it not been a shot clock violation, Crimson wins this game. But, number one, did the ball actually hit the rim? It's hard to say. It hit the backboard. It looks like it may have touched the rim. It's tough to say. Maybe it didn't. If it didn't, okay. Here's the thing. Riverton had possession. The shot clock never reset. Then they stole the ball away. He had possession for just a second. Crimson steals the ball away. The shot clock never reset when Riverton had the ball in their hands. It should have, even if it didn't touch the rim, the shot clock should have reset. He had the ball in his hands with like 2 seconds left on the shot clock. It should have reset when he got possession of it, this kid from Riverton. It did not. So Crimson...
Now, did he have possession of it, though? Did he have clear possession?
And that's the thing. Maybe the officials were like, too close to call. I don't know. And that's what I'm sure it came down to. They conferenced about it. And so, you know what? I know an official's job is extremely hard. They conferenced about it. So I'm going to assume that they talked that over. And they just said, yeah, we got to give the ball to Riverton here. It's a shot clock violation. So they did. And Riverton, with 5 seconds on the clock, goes coast to coast and scores. And they take the lead with only a second left. And a heave from Crimson off the mark, and so Crimson loses by 1.
And I would be willing to bet, knowing Coach Murdoch the way that I do, he's going to tell you, hey, it wasn't whether it was a blown call or not a blown call.
Yeah,
I think he's going to be upset about them going down coast to coast and
where's the defense?
Let's play some defense. I didn't watch it, but I'm assuming that's what he would be talking about.
Well, you can go back and watch that game. We streamed it.
I'll have to go back and watch that set.
That's one of those over on the fansportsnetwork.com, Fansports Network YouTube page, which we're streaming on right now, by the way.
Yeah.
Fansports Network YouTube page. Go ahead on over there and you can watch the show today, which is always fun.
It is.
A little bit different than just listening on the radio. But yeah, that's kind of how things wound up on Friday. It was still a fun game. I'm not going to lie. It was a really good game, and I saw a lot of positives from Crimson. They did a few things like, ball movement wise that I don't think I've seen from them yet.
Yeah.
And it was nice to see that they are moving the ball. They're taking smart shots. They just need more of it.
Yeah.
There's still plenty of times they're not doing that. They just need to look at the film and say, this is a good example. This is a not so good example. Let's continue to do the good and work on cleaning up the bad. And I think they'll be okay. Saturday. Even more on Saturday.
Let's
buzz through this here, too. So Cedar, Spanish Fork, Cedar gets the win.
Nice job,
That
Cedar.
was a great win for Cedar there, 62-52. Good for them to get the win. Now, with how well Crimson Cliffs played against Riverton, Riverton said, wow, we're tired of these close games. They beat Snow Canyon pretty good, actually. 55-44, Riverton gets the win there. Crimson Cliffs blows out Cottonwood, though. A 21-point win, 82-61. What a game for the Mustangs over the Colts. They said, hey, you're a Colt, you're a baby. We're the big brother Mustangs. We're going to take you down. Desert Hills, Green Canyon, kind of like you mentioned, Green Canyon, a tough team this year. 71-64, Green Canyon gets the win. And Pineview Payson, Pineview, great win for the Panthers. They look good this year, man. Pineview looks solid.
I like what Coach Amico is doing over there at Pineview. He's really establishing some really good culture over there, some adding in some traditions that Pineview already has, but he's adding to those traditions, and he's really bringing this team together. Schroeder, obviously, and Griffin are their two main guys, but he's got a host of kids over there that can put the ball in the hoop.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, it's fun to watch Coach Amico having some success over there for sure.
Oh yeah. So we'll see what that brings. I don't know. We'll see. I like it. I like what they're doing over there. It's fun.
I've got the RPI pulled up, but we'll talk about that when we come back.
I love it. We're going to take a break. More coming up next here on From the Bleachers. Stick around. Welcome back in, everybody, from the Bleachers here on the Fan Sports Network. Caden Formaster, Mark Musgrave.
The voice you know.
Welcome back into the show. Now, in just a moment, I know we're going to be having Devin Dixon joining us on the phone to talk a little bit of Monday Night Football. But just as a shout-out for our Thursday Night Football as well at the Eureka Casino Resort, we will not be there this week.
That's correct.
We have a Utah Tech game going on at that same time, so we're going to just have the Utah Tech game going on that way, so we will not have that. But, you know, we still will we still want to give them some love.
Oh, absolutely we will.
So, with it being Monday, of course, though, that means there's no better place to hang out than Wingnuts. Devin Dixon, what's up?
Hey, guys.
You're over there at Wingnuts, aren't you?
I am at Wingnuts, and we are all fired up. This is our last Monday Night Football party of the year. I hope you guys can come. I hope everybody in St. George can come. We're rolling out all the stops. We got more prizes than we've given away all year tonight. So we're all fired up.
Hey, the Double D, it's Caden's team versus your team.
That's
I think
right.
we should have some sort of station bet on this.
Yeah. Give me 7.5 points, Caden, and we'll put a steak dinner on it, buddy.
Oh, let's do better than a steak dinner. Let's do like a standing on a corner.
No, Mark wants embarrassment involved.
Yes,
That's what he's going for.
I love embarrassment.
Well, then we better go golfing with Mark because he embarrasses himself every time he's on the golf course.
I thought you were going to say go golfing with me because that's plenty embarrassing. Yeah, let's just film a round of golf for me and post that online. Embarrassing enough.
Hey,
you know what? I have more confidence in you because you actually use a chipper. Mark putts from like 60 yards off the green. There's no hope.
And I'm pretty damn good at it.
You are. I'll give you that. But still, but Tony Finau would laugh at you right now.
He's got that Texas wedge down to a science.
I've got the old man golf down pat.
Hey, although I got to say, Mark, you're on my team
Yes.
in the company shootout,
Yep.
so I'm not going to talk too much trash.
You got to
'cause I
start.
need you.
You got to build me up, Double D, not tear me down. You got to build me up.
Yep. You're an unbelievable player. Your short game is inflappable. You remind me a lot of Justin Thomas.
There
A young
you
Justin
go.
Thomas.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hey,
No.
tell us what's going on over there at Wingnuts tonight.
Wow, man. I mean, Caden, great question. Right now, it's the calm before the storm. We are just hanging out. There's about 20 people here, 30 people here, just kind of getting their pregame on, and it's about to get crazy. I think we're going to have a packed house tonight. So it's the holidays. Go get a couple shopping, go stop by a store or something. Take a break from shopping, whatever you got to do, and get the Wingnuts before or after your shopping excursion and come hang with us because, like I said, we are going to roll out all the stops. We've got about, somewhere around $1,000 in prizes tonight, guys. Jerseys, all the normal stuff, Dixie Direct, Fabulous Freddy's. We've got a $100 gift certificate of Pica Rica tonight we're going to give away. We've got, tons of stuff. Prime IV, we've got a free IV at Prime IV. That's a $100 value. We got all kinds of stuff. I'm guesstimating over $1,000 tonight. So we're going to roll out all the stops. We're going to make it worth your while to come down. The more you eat, the more you drink, the more tickets you get. Plus, we got code words. It pays to listen to the Fan Sports Network. So if you remember these two football names, you'll get extra raffle tickets. And I'm going to give them to you right now. Randall Cunningham. Randall Cunningham, throwback quarterback for the Eagles. And they were begging me to go Jim Zorn today, so I did. I went Jim Zorn for the Seattle Seahawks today. We went throwback quarterbacks for both teams. So those are your code words. If you wear an Eagles or a Seahawks jersey tonight, we're hooking you up with extra raffle tickets for that as well. So lots of ways to get extra chances to win. The jerseys, the prizes, over $1,000 in drawings. We're going to have a good time tonight, fellas. I'm looking forward to it.
I really think Randall Cunningham would have been so good in today's football. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, yeah. He'd be like Lamar Jackson or maybe even like a Jalen Hurts with the tush-push, brotherly shove, Randall could run it. He was,
Yep.
and then Michael Vick too. I mean, Michael Vick,
For sure.
Throw any of those guys in, he was a dual threat guy, and that's kind of the wave, right? That's the new trend.
Yep, for sure. Yeah, fun time.
So
Good times.
Yep. Wings are hot. Ask for them double baked. Burgers are delicious. Salads if you want. Family friendly. Lots of reasons to come to Wingnuts tonight, guys.
Love it, Double D.
Awesome.
Love it.
All right, Deb,
Yep.
we'll check in with you a few times throughout the show today and keep seeing how things are going over there at Wingnuts for you.
Okay, sounds good, guys. Go Hawks!
Yeah. Here's the good thing about him being on the phone is I still get the last word. So fly, Eagles, fly.
You do,
Go Birds.
but you didn't hang up on him fast enough.
That's fine. He doesn't need to know.
All right.
He doesn't need to know. I
Yeah,
get the last word with the listeners.
Fun matchup tonight, though. Definitely. Is Jalen Hurts playing tonight?
I
know that he flew.
As far as I know, so here's the
he
thing.
flew
He's
separately.
been sick.
Yeah, he's been sick.
Last I heard is that it's a game time decision. We'll just see how he's feeling. So
Because that's definitely
he flew separate because he didn't want to get the rest of the team sick. He didn't want to be around people. I have not heard one way or another.
That's definitely would certainly favor the Seahawks if that was the case. But Jalen Hurts is a big part of that Eagle offense for sure.
So I'm seeing that he is set to play.
Set to play.
Within
Okay.
the last hour,
Okay.
there have been reports saying he is set to play.
All right.
So, excuse me. So we will see. I mean, we'll see how he plays. I'm a little worried, not going to lie. But we'll
Hey,
see
you
how he
never
plays.
know. He might have a Michael Jordan flu game
Yeah, very well.
and just plays out of his mind.
Could.
So
Very possible.
We'll see. Hey,
It's very possible.
back to some Region 9 basketball. We were covering the Coach Walker Classic all weekend long for sure.
Yeah.
And we went through all of the games, all the scores. Wanted to kind of throw out to our listeners and our viewers the RPI as of right now. I'm going to mostly hit on Region 9 teams other than the top two, Green Canyon and Timpanogos, sitting 1 and 2. Both teams undefeated. Green Canyon is 10-0. Timpanogos is 9-0. Followed by those two teams, you have the Dixie Flyers. They are the highest ranked Region 9 team in the RPI right now, sitting 6-1 overall. The next Region 9 team would be Pineview. They are sitting 8th overall with a 6-3 record. Nice job, Coach Amico, like we had mentioned before. He's doing some good things over there, not just on the court, but off the court as well. The next Region 9 team is Desert Hills, sitting number 11. Right above them is, again, a team that I just don't even think should be in the region or in the 4A classification, Layton Christian Academy.
Yeah.
Again, when all of your players, when you have one player from the United States of America on your team, you know what? Maybe you shouldn't be in 4A. Maybe you should be either in an independent league or you play 6A. That's always been my thoughts. But Desert Hills, the third highest Region 9 team, sitting at number 11. Hurricane Tigers right behind them at 12. Crimson Cliffs right behind them at 13. So you got Desert Hills, Hurricane, Crimson sitting 11, 12, and 13, followed by Snow Canyon, 17. A little bit of a surprise, but I know that they played without Owen Mackey for one or two of their games over the weekend. Caden, do you know? Was it just the Thursday? Was it just the one game? I can't remember.
I want to say they didn't play with him for. That's tough to say.
We'll take a look and kind of update you. And then, so Snow Canyon 17, and then Cedar. You mentioned kind of their struggles a little bit here early on in the season, but you do like what they have, and they got a nice win against Spanish Fork to kind of end out that tournament. They're sitting 2-8, and they're sitting 25th right now in 4A. Stansbury, they're defeated. They have not won yet.
Yeah, it's been rough.
So, and they're sitting 26th. But, hey, a good showing. I think Region 9 all around had a really good showing this past weekend, and I can't wait for Region to start because I think there are going to be more close games this year than I think that we've ever seen. I think that we can all agree that Dixie kind of maybe separates themselves right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, and we all knew that kind of in the
Exactly.
preseason. That's not a shocker. And they have played some good competition. You know, they bypassed the Coach Walker Classic to go play some tough 5 and 6A teams.
Yeah.
Good for them, because that just gets you that much better and that much more prepared for this week with region play coming in this week.
Yeah. But then, man, you got Pineview sitting 8. You got Desert Hills, Hurricane Crimson, all sitting 11, 12, and 13. I mean, 2 through 6 right now. And I'm not going to exclude Cedar right now. I'm going to say 2 through 7 right now is, I think, a true battle. I could put those teams in any order, and I wouldn't be surprised if they came out that way.
Yeah.
And I could mix and match all of those teams, and I would not be surprised. So it'll be fun. I think we're in for a great, epic Region 9 season.
Yeah, you know, and there's teams like Crimson where there's times where Crimson Cliffs, for example, they played really poorly on Thursday. Let's call it as it is. Then they play really well on Friday and Saturday, right? Cedar, another one of those teams where they've struggled the whole year. This Coach Walker Classic was good for them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they played really, really tough through the Coach Walker Classic, and on Saturday, they got it figured out. They played some really good basketball Saturday, win by 21 points. So teams like Cedar, where they've been a little up and down, now all of a sudden you're like, maybe they are competitive. Maybe this is a really good competitive team. Desert Hills was super competitive this weekend. Snow Canyon has their moments, and they're not even healthy right now.
Yeah.
So I think that right there in that middle section of the group, and I don't know much about Hurricane. And if you're being like, well, what about Hurricane? I haven't seen them play.
Right.
I just don't know about Hurricane, so I can't say Hurricane yet. But with that said, I think this is going to be a fun, competitive year, and I cannot guarantee a single win for any team. We talked about Pineview. I didn't throw them in there either, but I mean, we were talking about it when we were talking about the scores in the first segment. They're extremely competitive. They're playing good basketball. They're fun to watch.
Yeah, they really are. And like I said, it's going to be a tremendous Region 9 season, and not just for the boys, but for the girls too.
Yeah, lots of good girls basketball going on.
I will tell you right now, I pulled up the RPI, and they did play this past weekend as well. Some of them did. Snow Canyon right now sits top of the RPI in girls basketball. The Lady Warriors sitting 8-1 overall. Again, number 1. Right behind them, sitting 7-2, are the Cedar Lady Reds. Good for you, Lady Reds. They are right on their tail. Talking about the Lady Warriors' tail, that is, sits Cedar. Ridgeline number 3, Green Canyon number 4, and then the Dixie Lady Flyers coming in at number 5, and following them right at number 6, the Hurricane Lady Tigers.
Yep, Lady Tigers falling in at 6 is, again, it's one of those spots where we know that Hurricane's been good this season. They're kind of a team that's been fun to watch. And we had all the seniors in the studio. We know they're going to be good this year.
And Coach Reddish, she really has confidence in this team, and that team has confidence. I mean, hey,
they are confident.
They really are a confident crew, and I think it, one thing that they said is, they feel that they can take Snow Canyon.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they said it in studio here, and I love that attitude that Coach Reddish has put on her team, and they've really sucked in what she's putting out there. They are just absorbing all of it. So good for them. Followed there, you got the Pineview Lady Panthers sitting 16. So a little bit of a drop off from Hurricane at number 6. And you're going to go all the way down to 16 for the Pineview Lady Panthers. Desert Hills Lady Thunder sitting 17. They're just not playing many games right now. Desert Hills.
Yeah, they're 1-3. They've played 4 games. That's not a lot.
Yeah, no, they're just not playing many games. And then you've got, that's it as far as Region 9 teams.
Yeah, which in itself, okay, you're looking at that. Okay, Desert Hills is ranked 17.
And they're actually,
of 26, and that's the bottom.
Well, and when you look at preseason, remember Des News had them ranked number 2 in the region. So,
yeah, they'll bounce
again,
back.
not many games played. I expect them to go up a little bit at least. So we'll see how that pans out. But yeah, remember Des News had Desert Hills.
Des News has Des Hills.
Had them at second in the region. But man, Lady Reds up there really putting on a show.
Yeah, they are. It's been kind of fun to watch what girls basketball's got this year, because it is different. Hurricane's good, Cedar's good, Snow Canyon's good. I mean, we got plenty of really solid talent. I even think Dixie's going to be competitive.
Oh, I think Dixie's going to be very good.
I think there's some really good teams this year, and between both the boys and the girls, it's going to be a great season. I can't wait for region this week.
Yep.
Speaking of region this week's, on Wednesday night, we are going to be streaming 2 basketball games. So we have Desert Hills at Pineview as one of our games, and Dixie Crimson as the other one. So we'll be bringing you both of those, which should be pretty exciting. So I'm excited. Desert Hills, Pineview. That's the one we got. So that'll be a fun one at Pineview High School. Yeah. Should be fun. I'm really excited. It's going to be a good game.
That's going to be a up and down game for sure. Both teams like to push the ball. They both like to shoot the 3. They both like to penetrate. This is going to be a fun game to watch. The 3 players, Desert Hills, they've got Eli Allred, Jackson Holman, and Ben Chase. They can all shoot the 3. They can all penetrate. This will be a fun matchup against Nash Schroeder and Griffin and whoever else the Panthers have out there. This is going to be a entertaining game, to say the least.
Absolutely. Yeah, super exciting. And then Dixie Crimson, like I said, Crimson's hit or miss sometimes. We'll see what Dixie brings. We'll see how dominant they really are in Region 9.
Yeah.
I think Crimson's going to be a really solid test to see how the rest of Region 9 can fare against them. Or I really do think. I think that's what it'll really come down to for that game. So, should be fun. I'm excited. Region play, it's here.
Yeah.
This week.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's fun stuff, but it's crazy. We still have a lot to get to today.
We haven't even talked NFL yet. Well, we talked a tiny bit of NFL.
But we haven't even really scratched the surface, though. We got a lot of NFL to talk about. Yes, it's Monday night. There's a game tonight. We'll talk about that a little bit, but really we need to look back at Sunday because there's just so much that happened.
And
Sunday.
Saturday.
And technically, yes, there were 3 games on Saturday, too. That's true. I'm not going to lie. I kind of forgot about the Saturday games, and it was like Saturday evening, and I went to check the schedule for Sunday. And I was like, whoa, hold up. We finished 2 games, and we're partway through a third game right now. I had completely forgot.
Yeah.
Like, how am I in sports radio and I completely forgot? But I was so focused on the Coach Walker Classic. I was not thinking NFL on a Saturday.
We were definitely focused local. And then it's just December. It's kind of like mid-December, the NFL. There's no college games, so the NFL says, okay, well, there's a free
throw
day
you
there.
A bone.
Let's get some Saturday games in there. There's games this Saturday as well.
Which I still don't. I mean, there were bowl games on that Saturday. Not good ones, but there were bowl games that Saturday. I mean, they kind of knew what they were doing. They're like, yeah, watch us. We know there's not good football.
Yeah.
Just watch us instead. Anyway, should we take a break?
Let's do it.
And when we come back, again, we're diving into more things. NFL. A lot of NFL to get to. So stick around with us here on From the Bleachers. More coming up next. Welcome back in, everybody, from the Bleachers here on the Fan Sports Network. Caden Formaster, Mark Musgrave.
The voice, Caden, I have a scenario I want to throw at you. There was over the NCAA football top 4.
Yes.
Right? Big time. Big time. I mean, Florida State got left out, and the only thing that anybody can come up with is because their starting quarterback got injured a game or two before the end of the season.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Now, what if, say, Penix Jr. comes out and says, I'm entering the NFL draft, and I'm foregoing the bowl game? I mean, dude, it's
the same concept.
It's the same concept, and that's exactly why Florida State was left out of the top 4.
Had he said it before they made the selection, then maybe they would have changed the way that things are done. But here's the thing: Washington,
and that was just an example.
Tough. Washington has played the Pac-12 was way tougher than the ACC was. So I get the example.
But yeah, I was just throwing that out there as an example because he was the only starting quarterback I could come up with.
Same concept in my opinion.
Yeah. Because they've come out. Jaden Daniels. He's not going to play another snap with LSU. He's done.
Which they only have the one bowl game left, and they're done anyway.
I know, but it's so weird to me. It's so weird to me that college football has changed so much. The bowl games used to mean so much to these players, and now it's just another game. And I don't like the direction that college football is going right now. I just don't.
Understandable. I saw a TikTok video today posted from Chip Kelly. It wasn't from Chip Kelly, but he was the one that was talking.
I saw this.
And so for but maybe some of our listeners.
Yes.
Now, I'm not going to get this 100% correct, so maybe you can help me because I watched the video once and I thought, interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And here I am today.
He's onto something. He's onto something.
His idea, he basically says that football and the rest of college athletics need to be separate. He thinks that conferences for everything else, for basketball, for whatever, he even mentioned basketball. He's like, we should be playing schools like Arizona, and we're just not, because we're not in the same conference, right? You look at this umbrella of college athletics, and football is drastically different than the rest of them. It just is.
It is, no question.
And his idea, his concept is every football team is independent.
Yeah.
You could do it north, south, east, west. He's like, for TV deals, if that's what makes it easier. And he said, sponsor them. I don't care. It could be the Nike division. It could be the Amazon division.
Yeah.
He's like, sponsor it. Make more money off of it. I don't care. But just make it so that you play 7 teams from your division and the rest of your schedule is filled with teams from, say, the East. The next year, teams from the South. Teams from the North.
Yeah.
But if we're in the West, we'll play at least 7 teams from the West. That would include, teams like BYU, for example.
Yeah.
That would be a part of the West just because, again, they're a Power 5 school. And he even mentioned split them up into 5. Split them up into, he's like, I don't care how many you split them up into. Split them up into 5 different. You don't have to call them Power 5, but just 5 regions, whatever it might be. And then he's like, still throw in some games from the lower levels like the Mountain West and from the MAC and so on and so forth, right? Everyone's still playing regional schedules. Everyone is still playing good competition. But
because let's be honest,
it's different.
When Alabama plays, Southern Alabama, and it's a 72-7 game, you think, why do they do that? They do that for Southern Alabama. It's a big payday for them. Why does BYU play Utah Tech? It's
payday for Utah Tech.
It's a payday for Utah Tech. So those games need to be involved for sure. But it's just one of those deals where I like the idea of college football being an open division because SEC does get preferential treatment, no question about it. That's why Alabama and, that's why I still think Alabama should be in. I think Texas is the one that should be out. But that's why Alabama's number 4 because they're in the SEC.
Yeah.
They do get preferential treatment, no question about it. But I like this idea of just having it, and I don't even think it should be north, south, east, and west. Just make it open. Just make it
independent.
Open competition. Everybody's independent. There's no divisions. There's just, hey, you set your schedule. So, Oregon can play Alabama, Florida State playing USC. I mean, you're just going all over the place. Everything's
I think
open.
there needs to be a little bit of structure.
There's nothing right now. There's no structure. USC's in the ACC.
Well, they're not.
Maybe
but,
not quite that extreme.
No, but Cal is in the ACC.
There you go.
That's not that different. I mean, Cal and Stanford are in the ACC now. So I get what you're saying as far as regulating geography goes.
Yeah.
Maybe regulate geography a little bit. But outside of that, everything else can be independent. And for football has the money. It doesn't matter if football's traveling.
Oh.
If Oregon's schedule is Alabama, Georgia, Clemson, Ohio State, Michigan, they could have that schedule if they want because they can afford it.
Yeah.
But do you know who can't afford it? Oregon's gymnastics team.
Right.
Or whatever, right?
Yes.
I'm just saying, like, just because the football team can doesn't mean the softball team can.
Right.
Or whatever. They need a more regional schedule. And if I am at UCLA, for example, for basketball, I want to be playing Arizona because they're good. I want to be playing Oregon. I want to be playing my schools geographically. Well, guess what? I know UCLA is going to play Oregon, so maybe that's a bad example now because they're Big Ten, fellow Big Ten schools. But yeah, your Big Ten schedule is just very different. You're not playing that rivalry game of UCLA Arizona anymore. It's not going to be the same because you're just not in the same conference.
Yeah, and just the NIL stuff where there's millions of dollars now being shelled out to some of these transfers.
Yeah, and that was his other point too. Is
really,
NIL.
Yeah, it's really free agency going on right now, and I can't remember what quarterback it was, but one of them said, he goes, "I'll move for $2 million. Like, I'll transfer to your school, but you got to pay me $2 million." And it's like, this is not what NIL was intended for. I can't remember who I was listening to. It might have been Zach Gelb. I can't remember. The show be out right before us, but he was saying, they were saying NIL was for the local Ford company to have you down at their dealership signing some autographs where you can get, paid and you can, promote them as well and actually have some benefits there. It wasn't for the schools to pay out millions of dollars for recruitment.
Yeah.
It just wasn't.
Or even on a local level, you see Cam Rising does ads for Mountain America Credit Union.
Yeah.
That's a little more big time, but guess what? It's still at least local. It's something local where it's like, hey, he's a spokesman for a brand that is local to our area. Great. Okay. We don't care. You know what? It's basically a way for him to have a job using his likeness because he's a famous person. Let's call it what it is. He's famous. And use your likeness and make some money off of it. Why not?
So then BYU goes to Cam Rising and says, "Hey, we will give you $2 million if you just come on down and play for us." I mean, that's really what it is. There's nothing stopping anybody from doing that.
You're exactly right. It's crazy. I wish we could talk. I mean, we still could talk more about it, but we do have to get to a break. So we will have more for you on the other side. Stick around with us here on From the Bleachers. welcome back in, everybody. It is From the Bleachers here on the Fan Sports Network. 5 o'clock hour here. Caden Formaster, Mark Musgrave.
The voice you know.
And we'll be having Devin calling in just a little bit, giving us his update from Wingnuts. It's Monday night. That means some Monday Night Football. Tonight's game, Philadelphia Eagles. And whoever else, doesn't really matter. I'm just kidding. Seattle Seahawks. But, of course, I'm rooting for the Eagles.
Of course you are.
Yeah. No, it should be a good game. I'm actually really excited about this one. I always worry that the Eagles are going to lose every single game. I don't know if you're that kind of fan.
Well,
I have no hope ever. And they're a good team.
Yeah,
I always have no hope.
That's horrible. Try to be a Raider fan.
That's true. I understand that.
Yeah.
Hey, on the phone, Devin Dixon. Devin, how's it going over there?
Hey, man, it's great, man. We're having a good time over here. Final Monday Night Football party of the season. Let's go, Hawks! Come on, Caden.
Go Birds.
You think you get the last word, but I'm gonna have the last laugh tonight when the Eagles go down.
I mean, we'll see about that. I don't trust that at all.
Devin, I gotta say, I'm on the Seahawk train tonight because I would love to have that be a conversation we have tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean those Eagles, they're not even in the ball game tonight. Like Jalen's got the stomach flu. Like
I am worried about that.
A.J. Brown's not. He's mad because Jalen's sick. The brotherly shove is the brotherly love. I mean, they're all discombobulated tonight, and Seattle's desperate.
I just
it
hope.
all adds up.
I just hope that Jalen Hurts doesn't have a MJ flu game.
I want to. Yeah, me too. Yeah, for sure. Don't even put that thought in my head, Mark. But I want to know how in the heck a kid from Enterprise, Utah, ended up an Eagles fan.
I'll tell
What's
you
the backstory?
I'll tell you exactly how that happened. My neighbor down the street, his uncle is Andy Reid, and Andy Reid at the time was the coach of the Philadelphia Eagles, and so his fandom rubbed off on me as being an Eagles fan growing up. Easy as that.
Yeah, I'm not buying it. Not good enough.
I mean,
no excuses.
That's what it is. How does anybody from Utah team of anything? We don't have a team here.
Well, there's a lot of Bronco fans.
Well,
My parents were 49er fans, so
because of Steve Young,
and they were Steve Young fans. Yeah, that
well,
one never rubbed off on me.
I like you so much better than your parents. I'm just saying. I mean, the NFC West, we do not like the 49ers.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Hey, Devin,
all.
it could have been worse. It could have been worse for you. I could have been a 49er fan.
Yeah. You know what? I got a really good friend that's an Eagles fan, and we've been talking trash all day long. So it's kind of rubbing off on me. So I apologize. But you know what? That's why we love sports, right? Like, let's go. Monday Night Football. We're desperate. We're at home. And let's see what happens. I like our chance tonight. I still don't know if Gino's playing tonight, though. I don't think we're enough for probably another half hour or so.
Last word I saw said that he was, but we'll see.
Yeah, I think he could. I mean, not going last week, but limited. He did not get any first-team reps all week long, so that scares me just a little bit. But, I mean, Gino's a veteran at this point in time.
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen enough battle of the backups, right, Mark? We don't want to see any more battle of the backups.
I am done with the season of 2023, the year of the backup. Horrible.
It's been bad. We've had so many backups.
Man.
Yep.
Oh, man.
So, no, but, hey, I'm glad you guys checked in. We're here at Wingnuts. I'm here. We got, a good 20, 30 people already here getting their pregame on. Wings are hot. They're double-baked. The burgers are great. The salads are great. Ice-cold fountain drinks, your favorite beverages, beer on tap. They got domestic pints, $3 tonight. You can't beat that. We've got I just kind of did a rough – because last call in, I kind of winged it a little bit, I'm not going to lie. But I was right. I love it when I'm right. We have over $1,000 in prizes. I mean, I've got rounds of golf. I've got Prime IV drips. We're talking $100. We got Dixie Direct books. We got like 4 of them to give away. Another $100 plus. We've got so many prizes. Plus, we're giving away a Kenneth Walker jersey tonight is what we're drawing for.
Okay.
So K-Dub, K9, whatever you want to call them, we're going to give that away. So we're fired up. I get to the last Monday Night Football party of the season, and I want to go out with a bang. I want people to be like, that was fun. So the best way to have some fun, come to Wingnuts, get some good food, hang out with your buddies, invite your friends, your family, bring your kids, and win some prizes. That's what we're going to do tonight.
And Double D is like, he is like Oprah Winfrey at halftime. $100 prize for you. $100 prize for you. I mean, he's just throwing them out at halftime.
Here's an island in the South Pacific just for you. Yeah. You know what, though? We love our listeners. It pays to listen to the show because we do have the code words tonight. I'll give them to you one more time. Going throwback quarterbacks. Randall Cunningham, Jim Zorn. You come into Wingnuts, you tell your server, hey, I got the code words, Jim Zorn, Randall Cunningham, extra raffle tickets. Hey, I'm wearing an Eagles jersey. Hey, I'm wearing a Seahawks jersey, extra raffle tickets. So we try to make sure that our listeners do get a little advantage on just a casual walk-up fan here at Wingnuts on a Monday night.
I love it. Yeah, that's the best way to do it. Make sure that if you're listening, you get a little extra there. I love it.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah, I mean, look, Caden, what's your prediction on the game tonight? I'm just curious. Like, are you confident tonight going into Seattle?
I mean, normally, yes, I would be. Jalen being not fully 100% is always going to be a little worrying to me. I think, though, man, it's tough to say. I think the Eagles still will lock it down, but, you know, they've been struggling the last few weeks. So if they do win, it's not going to be by much. I don't think they cover the spread, but I think they win.
Yeah, it's up to 3.5 or 4, depending on where you look. Hey, Mark, did the Raiders make Antonio Pierce the head coach permanently yet? I'm waiting for that headline.
No.
I mean, what else does the guy got to do? 63 points? Are you kidding me?
Hey,
come on.
In the offseason, they can't just remove that interim head coach title. They have to go through the hiring process in the offseason. They have to.
Yeah, Nathaniel Hackett's going to be available. Bring him in. He's been great.
No, thanks.
I mean, the Jets are going to let him go. They can have him. Like Mark Davis, it's not that complicated. You should have hired Biaggia, and now you should hire Antonio Pierce. Like, just make it happen.
I think they missed on hiring Rich. Yeah,
and I think I think he has, especially if he gets a competitive game against the Chiefs or he gets a win against the Chiefs, it's going to kind of maybe not put his name in ink, but maybe pencil. But they can't take off the interim. They can't just name him the coach. They have to go through the whole entire process and have, 3 guys come in, one being of color or race and all that kind of stuff. Even though he is, they still have to go through that whole hiring process.
There's a lot of legalities with the NFL when it comes to hiring coaches.
Yeah, just Mark Davis, don't blow this one, buddy. I'm counting on you, man. You're a cuckoo bird, but just hire the defensive, D'Amico Ryans, Antonio Pierce.
Yeah.
Like, even Pete Carroll, defensive coach, So, like, defensive coach, like, it's a quarterback-driven league, but you've got this team playing really good on the defensive side of the ball. Like, don't overthink this. You know what I mean?
Yo, I'm with you 100%.
Yep. I know it's not sexy. I know it's not Jim Harbaugh or John Harbaugh or, some hot-to-trot college coach, but – you got a guy that's fighting for the guys, and the guys are playing hard for him, and obviously the locker room likes him.
That's the whole thing is the entire locker room will run through a brick wall for this guy. They wouldn't even walk up to a brick wall for McDaniels. They will run through a brick wall for this guy, and that's half of being a head coach. It's just being a leader of men, and he is a leader of men. I think I am open to being a Raider fan. I'm open to going through the first year head coach, mismanaging the clock or maybe a bad timeout or a bad challenge. I'm willing to go through that as a Raider fan for a guy like Antonio Pierce because his guys do play for him.
Well, especially if you can draft like a Bo Nix or a Michael Penix Jr.
Yep.
I love both those Pac-12 quarterbacks, and I think the Raiders could have a shot at one of them at least. You know what I mean?
I agree.
I don't think Aiden O'Connell is the future.
No.
I certainly don't think Jimmy G's the future.
Nope.
He's too injury prone. So, get a franchise quarterback that you can build around and just don't overcomplicate this. I'm with you. But, hey, the beer's cold and the wings are hot, boys. We're down here at Wingnuts, and I'd love to see you guys down here tonight. You guys free tonight?
I got to talk to the wife.
Caden, this is your team.
I know it's my team. I'm
going to try to talk to him, Devin.
Okay, work on Caden. I mean, I know he wants to. Look, it would be kind of embarrassing if the Seahawks won and he was talking all this smack on the radio. And
I feel like you've been talking a lot more smack than me, so if the Seahawks lose, it's only going to come back to bite you.
Well, we're underdogs. I
That's
can't
true.
lose. We're
That's
underdogs. Yeah, I mean, you're 10-3. You know the Cowboys lost, so
Yeah.
the
You can
pressure's
take that
on
spot back.
you guys. Yeah.
Get
Yeah,
that
I
11.
mean, look, 49ers are going to win the division. They've already clinched. We know that. We're just fighting for a wild card. You know, we need the Rams to maybe lose a couple down the stretch, and we need to win out to control our own destiny because we don't have the tiebreaker. So,
Well, and there's
hey,
only 2
that's
spots
what makes
available,
money-
too, because no matter what, either Philly or Dallas, one of them will take one of those wild card spots.
Well, yeah, and you know the NFC South, you know Tampa Bay or the Saints are going to get one of those spots too, even though, you know, they're not playing as good as you'd like them to do if you're a fan of those teams, you know. So, yeah, there's a lot more. Look, the AFC is crowded. The NFC is crowded. The playoff race is on, boys. It looks good.
Yeah, it's fun.
And tonight has a lot of implications in the NFC for seeding and then for the wild card with the Seahawks. So it's going to be fun. So we want to personally invite everybody to come hang. If you've never come all season long, you know, tell your wife, tell your buddies, tell your kids, like, we're going to Wingnuts. We're going to have a good time. We're going to win some prizes, and it won't disappoint. So hopefully people will come hang with us. We hope to be back next year, obviously. And yeah, like, let's go tonight. Let's go. Hey, I'm not going to lie. Jalen Hurts is my fantasy quarterback, and I'm in a playoff game already. So I am torn a little bit tonight. Like, little known facts. I'm rooting for a shootout tonight, just so you guys know.
Is that Toyers or Double D's?
He is my quarterback in No, Lamar is. Double D. You know what? Doesn't matter in Double D's, does it, Mark? I'm already out of the playoffs.
Yeah, you and I are in the consolation bracket, bro. And my fantasy team showed up this week finally. Week 14.
Yeah,
Thanks, guys.
I do have Jalen in a dynasty league though, where you keep your roster every year and you get one draft pick.
Oh yeah.
And so and playoffs start next week in that league, and I'm sitting in 5th, so I still need Jalen in a couple leagues to play well. I'm a big Jalen Hurts fan. I mean, look at those Oklahoma quarterbacks go now, right? Look at what Baker Mayfield did with 4 touchdowns. Like, Oklahoma is putting quarterbacks on the map. I've been a homer and apologizer for Baker Mayfield his whole career, and he finally made me look good after a game for a change. So I'm happy about that.
I think Baker has finally found a home where he's comfortable. I really do, because I've never thought he's a good NFL quarterback at all. This year, he has stepped up and proved me wrong.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting if he's back or not. You know, Gardner Minshew's playing good. You know, there's a lot of backups playing some pretty good minutes right now in the NFL. So DeVito and the Giants has won 3 out of 4. Hey, did you guys see that deal on DeVito and that little pizzeria in Jersey? Did you guys see that storyline?
I don't think that I have.
Oh my goodness! So DeVito's been doing these appearances. $10,000. He goes to this pizzeria in Jersey, and his agent calls the pizzeria today after they couldn't get a hold of him, and said, "Hey, Joey's now $20,000." And I'm like, wait a minute, that's dirty, dude. This little pizzeria is paying $10,000 a week for you to sign 250 autographs and show up at their pizzeria, and now you win 3 out of 4 in the NFL and you big time and you double the price. Like,
wow.
I'm not a fan of Joey DeVito's agent right now, or DeVito. I think that's dirty. Like, you had a deal. Like, you were there for the season. That's, you know, I just have a hard time with that. I saw that today about puked.
Is that why when they were sacking him over the weekend, they were doing the money sign?
I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah. I was watching a little bit of that game, and I can't remember who the Giants were playing, but every time they would sack him, they would do the old money sign that Johnny Manziel used to do.
Google that story.
Wow.
Congloger, I can't remember the name of the pizzeria. It's an Italian name.
Yeah.
But you know what? Like, and look, like, we're dealing with college football, NIL money right now and stuff, and money's flying around. But, like, you don't big time the local pizzeria that was paying you $10,000 because now you've won a couple games in the NFL. Go sign the autographs.
Well, this is good news for you, Double D, since those are your feelings towards DeVito. Now, he has been sacked 35 times this year. That's the 5th most in the NFL. He's only started 5 games.
I know.
Yeah.
The Giants off. Hey, luckily they're going to have some draft picks, and they can hopefully draft some offensive linemen. They need to take that kid out of Penn State or that kid out of Oregon. You know what I mean? Like look at Penei Sewell. Like, when the Lions took him at 7, a lot of people were like, brilliant. And how much has that paid off for Golf? Golf
Big
had
time.
37 fantasy points yesterday, and single-handedly played a great game because he's got time to throw the football. Like, you can't undervalue the O-line. You can't.
No, I agree. They're not sexy picks, but they are certainly very valuable picks.
Yeah. Hey, I'm bummed about Scoop Johnson. That sucks about the broken foot. But I'm pumped for high school basketball. I'm pumped for our final Monday Night Football party of the year. I'm pumped for bowl season, even though everybody's opting out. I was at my daughter's soccer tournament in Phoenix this week, so I didn't watch a lot of bowl games. But got Utes on Saturday in the Vegas Bowl. I'll watch some bowl games this weekend. Great time to be alive in the STG, huh, fellas?
I love it,
right.
man. And, hey, since you brought up the bowl games, I got a scenario to throw out you, Devin.
Oh, boy.
Okay, so Texas sitting number 3. Between 3 and 4, people are wondering why Florida State was left out, and Texas is in and Alabama's in. Let's just say that
Right.
Quinn Ewers, quarterback for Texas, says, you know what? I'm opting for the NFL draft. I'm not going to play this bowl game. Because the only reason why Florida State was left out is because their quarterback got injured. That's the only
Jordan Travis.
Yes. Only reason why they were left out. Now, what if, now that they're in place, let's just say that Quinn, the starting quarterback of the Longhorns, comes out and says, you know what? I'm opting out. I'm not going to play in the bowl game. What do you do?
Well,
What can you do, really?
you give the ball to Arch Manning, and you dial up Uncle Eli, and you dial up Peyton, and you say, hey, you know what? I'm staying in college. I'm not in the portal, which every other quarterback's doing. Kyle McCord, every you look at Dylan Gabriel at Oklahoma. They're all going to the portal to get that payday. And Arch Manning really surprised a lot of people. So if that happens, Mark, I will be the big Hook'em Horns fan, and I will root for Arch Manning like you've never seen a guy root before, because there's still loyalty in some people's, table and at their breakfast table. I mean, like, Arch Manning could go in the portal and he could get a ton of money, and I keep waiting for him, and he didn't do it. So I will become, if that happens, the biggest Arch Manning fan that you've ever seen.
But
I'll buy a burnt orange sweatshirt, for hell's sake.
But my thought process is, what does Florida State do? Not that they can really do anything, but my thought process is coming from, what would their state of mind be?
Well, go beat Georgia, and then you got a lot of respect from the country. That's for one.
Yeah, for sure.
Because that's not going to be easy. And for two, get your governor DeSantis to file a second lawsuit. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what you're going to do.
Yeah.
They didn't do anything wrong. It's
I know.
a tragedy that they won their conference championship and they're undefeated. But yet, I have myself feeling like the committee didn't get it wrong.
I agree with you.
Out loud, it sucks. It sucks, but I feel like I think we got the best 4 teams in.
I totally agree.
Injuries are part of the game, and it shouldn't affect it. And I feel bad for all those kids that are battling their tails off. And if I'm the coaching staff down there, they did exactly what they were supposed to do. But it is what it is. You know what? Next year it won't matter. We're getting expansion.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
I guess we'll deal with it next year, and then we'll be talking about who's the 13th best team, right?
A never-ending battle.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, you guys are awesome. Keep rocking the airwaves, and we'll check in with you guys before the end of the show.
Thanks, Double D.
Let's do it.
See you guys. Go.
Oh,
I cut him off that time. I cut him off that time.
How dare you,
Oh.
Caden Formaster?
Oh, feels good.
Cutting off Double D, Devin Dixon, who's been in this market for 20-plus years, and you just hung up on him.
He had
Wow.
he had a full 2-hour show this morning where I didn't interrupt once.
The stone's on you. Wow.
Oh, it's funny. That's funny. No, it's all good. We love some playful banter and rivalry around here.
Oh.
You know, I feel like I'm a pretty good sport. Being an Eagles fan, there's not a single shred of Eagles gear in this entire place, and there's like 3 Cowboys things in this room. I'm pretty nice.
I think
for letting that stay up.
I think Connor's winning the battle here with stuff in here.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, Connor brought in a lot of stuff. But you know what we do have in here? My bowling trophy. That counts for something. That's mine. We got a bowling trophy for me.
Okay.
That's about it. That's all I got.
Okay.
Which I could lose next year. We'll see. I've had it the last 2 years in a row, so we'll see. Man, Devin's talkative. We talked a long time there. We were going to get to some stuff this segment, but it's already time for us to get to a break again.
Well, we'll do it next break.
Let's get to it next break.
Yep.
We're going to take a break. We got more coming up next. Stick around. Welcome back in, everybody, from the Bleachers here on the Fan Sports Network. Keaton Formaster and Mark Musgrave.
The voice, you know.
All right, Mark. Well, we had a good conversation with Devin talking about some Monday Night Football and a few other things thrown in there.
It is a great place to go watch some Monday Night Football. The wings are good. They're hot. Get them double baked. Head on up to Wing Nuts. And, hey, if anything, just go up there and get some prizes.
Yeah.
He does the
Free
prizes
stuff
at halftime, so you don't have to stay for the whole game. Go up there, get your raffle ticket, put it in, and know your keywords so you get an extra raffle ticket as well, which they are Randall Cunningham and Jim Zorn.
Yep.
Are your keywords to get extra raffle tickets. Go up there, get some wings, get some of their buffalo chips, stay for halftime, get your prize, then you can head home if you want.
Why not? Why not?
So pretty good plan there.
I like it. All right, well, let's shift gears a little bit. It is time for one of our favorite segments here on the Fan Sports Network. It is time for...
4 Downs.
4 Downs. Mark, we ready to rock and roll here?
I am ready.
All right, let's get to it. I'm going to let you take the first one.
First down.
Well, first down, I'm going clear back to Thursday night football. The Raiders, they scored 63 points, the most in a single game in franchise history, surpassing their previous record of 59 points in Week 7 back in 2010 against the hated Denver Broncos, 59-14 when the Raiders got that win. Now, here's the deal, too.
Okay.
I'm going to bring your team into this mix.
All right.
With 63 points, the Raiders have now scored the second most points in NFL history in the game immediately following a shutout, behind a 64-point effort by your Philadelphia Eagles back on October 28th, 1943. Yes, we're talking World War II era. So
It's been a long time.
it's been a long time since a team has come off a shutout and then they get a 60-plus point effort.
Wow.
Crazy.
That's crazy. All right, I'm going to change it up just a little bit. I'm going to go with Brock Purdy for a second. Talk a little 49ers since Double D's, talking up his Seahawks. Let's talk up his biggest rival, and let's talk 49ers for a little bit. And, of course, this is...
Second down.
Second down. Brock Purdy had 4 touchdown passes with no interceptions for 135.3 passer rating. Now, running back Christian McCaffrey, 187 scrimmage yards. That was 115 rushing, 72 receiving, 3 touchdowns as they got the win over Arizona. So, let's talk Brock Purdy first. 6 games this season with a passer rating of 130 or higher. That ties Aaron Rodgers, Tony Romo, Ryan Tannehill. I'm a little surprised by Tannehill thrown into this group a little bit. And Russell Wilson. Pretty good names there for the most such games in NFL history. Now, Brock Purdy has 13 career games with a passer rating of 110 or higher. That ties Justin Herbert with 13 games. For the second most such games by a player in his first 2 seasons in NFL history, only Russell Wilson had more. Talking Christian McCaffrey as well, though. 1,292 rushing yards, 509 receiving yards this season. He's the 4th player in NFL history to record at least 1,000 yards rushing, 500 receiving in 4 or more career seasons. He joins Marshall Faulk, Thurman Thomas, and Tiki Barber. I could go on, but we'll just cap it off right there.
And just to let you know, Christian McCaffrey, on my fantasy football team, he was projected to get 22 points. He got me 44 points yesterday. Doesn't mean jack squat because I'm in the consolation bracket, no money on the line. My team they did so well this week for nothing.
For nothing.
Yeah. I mean, I started off pretty good, but then since about week 4 or week 5, my team has just been hit and miss, mostly miss. This week they all showed up and, well, anyways.
Well, there you go. All right, let's get to it for you.
Third down.
Third down.
Third down. We talked a little bit about quarterbacks a little bit earlier, and more specifically, Baker Mayfield. I've been hard on Baker Mayfield.
Yeah.
Ever since the beginning of this show, I have been hard on Baker Mayfield, no question about it. So I'm going to give him a shout out, certainly when he deserves one. He deserves one. He passed for 381 yards, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions for a 158.3 rating.
It's the perfect passer rating, by the way.
It's the highest attainable mark. That was in the Buccaneers' 34-20 win at Green Bay. Now, Mayfield is only the 3rd player with at least 375 yards passing, 4 touchdown passes, and a 158.3 rating in a road game in NFL history. Do you know the other two, Caden?
Tell me.
Well, Nick Foles, one of your quarterbacks, November 3rd back in 2013 against my Oakland Raiders. And then also, too, way back in 1986, back in the 1900s, Ken O'Brien did it with the New York Jets versus Double D's team, Seattle.
How about that, huh?
Yeah, Baker Mayfield, Ken O'Brien, Nick Foles. Really not
Powerhouse quarterback.
Yeah, that's going to say, really not a trio of powerhouse quarterbacks, but they're the only 3 that have done this.
That is interesting.
I mean, yeah, pretty crazy.
4th down.
For 4th down, I'm going to talk about some powerhouse quarterbacks, though.
Okay.
Because there are some powerhouse quarterbacks out there in the league. And one that we all can agree on is a great quarterback. Probably the top quarterback right now in the NFL is Patrick Mahomes. Maybe not like at this very second. He's had a rough season. Has it been his fault entirely?
Thanks.
That's another.
Thanks, Tony.
Kadarius Toney. Yeah, that's another conversation for another day. But I will say this. He did pass for 305 yards and 2 touchdowns in their win over New England. He's currently in his 7th season. He has 45 career games with at least 300 passing yards. Pretty solid. That ties Matt Ryan, who also had 45 games through this point, through the first 10 career seasons in NFL history. Mahomes also has 217 touchdown passes in 94 career games, which ties Pro Football Hall of Famer Dan Marino, who we know is really top-notch when it comes to slinging the pill.
Oh, I love it.
217 touchdown passes as well. So that's the most touchdown passes by a player in their first 100 career games in NFL history. He's up at the top. He's tied with Dan Marino. Pretty solid place to be if you're Patrick Mahomes. You tell me this, Mark. Do you think by the end of Patrick Mahomes' career, he's going to be in conversations for greatest of all time?
I think he's trending that way. Yeah.
I mean, he's got to keep it up for 20-plus seasons.
I don't even know about 20 plus. I'd say 15 plus.
You think so?
Maybe even 12 plus years.
Because we always talk longevity.
Yeah.
And because Tom Brady had such longevity.
Yes, he did.
Then that's going to come into play a little bit. But if the Chiefs continually are making the at least the AFC championship game, which they have for however many last years, I don't even know. Then I think that's going to continually be one of those things that people look at is Patrick Mahomes the greatest quarterback of all time? Not yet. I'm not saying he is now, but I think that there is definitely, like you say, a trend in that direction.
Yeah, I definitely think he's trending in that direction. You think of the other GOAT before Tom Brady, which was Joe Montana.
Sure.
I think we can agree with that. But, he played for 16 seasons. So I think if you get to that 14, 15, once you break that barrier and you're still producing in the NFL, then you're going to be able to be in that conversation for sure.
I agree with that.
No question about
it.
So, he has a little bit longer to do it, but he's definitely trending that way. Get 14, 15, 16 years behind you. And if you're still doing what you're doing or somewhat close to it, definitely in that conversation. Also, too, I wanted to throw out, we're talking quarterbacks, and I wanted to bring up Derek Carr.
Yeah, this is an extra.
This is an extra.
4 downs.
Carr has 3,098 passing yards this season and became the 3rd player in NFL history with at least 3,000 passing yards in each of his first 10 seasons, joined by Football Hall of Famer Peyton Manning and probably future Hall of Famer Russell Wilson. Now that is a nice duo right there to be in the conversation with. Derek Carr joins those two. A little bit more of a powerhouse quarterback room than Nick Foles and Ken O'Brien. Although what Nick Foles and Ken O'Brien and Baker Mayfield did is quite amazing.
It's quite a feat.
It's just surprising.
But it was one game. Anybody can have one good game,
yes.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, there you go.
4 downs.
4 downs. Always a good time. Always a good time. Going to Derek Carr for just a minute, too, since you were already there. Derek Carr is one of those quarterbacks where historically he has been a really solid passer, and he does throw for a lot of yards. I mean, he's a guy that consistently gets 300-yard games every single season.
Yeah, he's got nice touch. He can make most throws. He can throw the deep ball. He can throw the touch pass. I mean, he's got a full repertoire of throwing the ball. He doesn't do sidearm and stuff like some of these newer quarterbacks. But
I think it just comes down to closing out games, and he doesn't run. I
Correct,
think that's the thing that's keeping him from being one of the great quarterbacks is he needs to win more games. And maybe that's not always entirely his fault. Sometimes you can always look at, especially because he was on the Raiders for the most part of his career. You look at defenses and you look at who he had as receivers and especially an offensive line. It's not just Derek Carr. Had he been on better teams, we might be looking at Derek Carr's career a little bit differently. He just didn't get the luck of the draw necessarily on the team around him.
Yeah.
And I think that's unfortunate because I do think that he's, at least he can throw the ball. He throws the ball really well. Like I say, he hasn't closed out games very well, and he's not running the ball. That's just not his strong suit.
Yeah.
So maybe if he was able to do those things, we'd look at him in a different light.
It's so funny, too. Derek Carr is still one of those players. I wanted to use a different word, but I'll just use players, where Raider fans are still hateful towards him. Like, if you were not in the Derek Carr camp, when he does poorly with the Saints, like, Raider fans, certain Raider fans, they say, oh, see, he's not a good It's like, dude, we are almost done with a full season of him not being in silver and black. Why do we even care? Why do you even care? So it's just amazing that he is still living rent-free in some Raider Nation, heads for sure.
He's got a hold on him. It's kind of weird.
Hey, here's something that I wanted to ask you, Caden.
Okay.
So AFC bubble teams right now, the number 8 seed right now are the Houston Texans, and number 9 is Buffalo. I don't want to go beyond that because Pittsburgh doesn't fall into this category. Denver sitting at 11 doesn't fall into the category, and neither do the Las Vegas Raiders sitting 12th fall into this category. But between the Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen and the Houston Texans and C.J. Stroud, who would you rather see on this bubble take that 7th spot?
That's tough. And we're talking specifically
because those are your two.
We're talking AFC.
Yeah, those are the 2 AFC bubble teams.
If CJ Stroud's healthy, I like the Texans because I like the turnaround. I like the storyline there. They've been a fairly entertaining team to watch all year long. So
as are the Bills. They're entertaining as well.
So I've liked what Houston has been able to do. The Bills need to just get it done. They got it done against the Cowboys this last week.
They did.
Good for them. They need to keep doing that through the rest of the season, or it's going to be a really rough road if they're not in the playoffs. The offseason for the Bills is going to be really bad.
That was a really hard-hitting game. I was watching some of that game in the I believe it was in the early window of Sunday's games. And I kept telling Landon and Macy, I was like, man, these two teams are hitting hard. Even the Cowboys were, the Bills were. It just seemed to be a more hard-hitting game than some of the other games that I was flipping back and forth between.
Right. Yeah, it was. I mean, yeah, I'm right there with you. I think there were definitely some moments where it felt like that game was right on the edge of getting pretty chippy. It never really did, but it felt like it was right there. So, yeah, I don't know. I like Houston. I like Buffalo.
I would like to see the Bills personally.
Yeah,
I think
the Bills is just a classic team over the last few years that we're expecting to see.
I just think they can be more dangerous in the playoffs than a C.J. Stroud-led team. Hey, and I'm not taking anything away from C.J. Stroud. He has had an unbelievable rookie year, and he will be very entertaining to watch the next few years for sure. But I would, for me, as a football fan, I'd like to see the Bills.
Understandable. Tell you what, we got this right here too. Let's take a look since we're on it. Indianapolis, the Colts are also right there in that with that same record of 8-6.
But
so
you know what? They don't excite me.
That's the thing. Indy, not exciting.
No.
Cincinnati, without Joe Burrow, yeah, Browning's been kind of fun, but
Yeah.
I don't see him in the playoffs. Really, it's coming down to, do you want to see Josh Allen or do you want to see Gardner Minshew, C.J. Stroud, or Jake Browning? I lean Houston, Buffalo. That's who I would want to see the most in some of these wild card games. I assume Cleveland will probably be in because they're 9-5 if they continue to win. And again, that's another team being led by Joe Flacco. Yay!
Hey, I will tell you, he's playing really well, man.
He's playing good
for an old dude.
But so is Browning,
he is slinging it.
That's what I'm saying. You have some good backup quarterbacks that are getting it done and that are winning games.
Now,
but do you want to see that in the playoffs, or do you want to see guys that took their team through the whole season into the playoffs?
Now, let's go to the NFC.
Yeah.
Your bubble teams are, who would you rather see? The New Orleans Saints, who's sitting currently number 8.
Okay.
Or tonight's team, the Seattle Seahawks.
I'd rather see Seattle.
Would you?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Seattle's a little more exciting in my opinion. And you know what's funny is I like the Saints. I think the Saints have a lot of Utah guys on their team
and they have some exciting players. I mean, granted, they have Alvin Kamara, they've got Michael Thomas, obviously Derek Carr,
Rashid Shaheed,
Taysom Hill. But you would rather see the Seahawks. Do you think they're more entertaining than the Saints?
I think on a national level, there's going to be more interest if it's a Seahawks team.
I don't know. That's a tough one. That's a tough one.
It is tough. New Orleans is scrappy. They're a tough team. I wouldn't want to face them.
Beyond that, it's the Atlanta Falcons sitting 10th. The Green Bay Packers sitting 11th. I again, just kind of going to that 8 and 9 seed, Seattle and New Orleans. Really.
So who's in the 6 and 7 right now? I mean, obviously you have Dallas is up there at 5. It's probably, let's see, Minnesota is up there right now. LA is up there. And that's it, right? Those are your 3 teams.
Right.
So you're looking at Minnesota, LA, Tampa Bay, New Orleans, all at a 7 and 7 record. Any of those can change at any point, right? Wins and losses, you never know what's going to happen with some of those. Atlanta could move up, right? Atlanta just as easily can move into that. Seattle can move into that. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, right now. So here's the playoff picture as of right now. There's only one AFC team that has clinched, and that is the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah, they're 11 and 3. They clinched.
There are 3 teams that have clinched in the NFC. The Niners, number 1. Eagles, number 2. Cowboys, number 5 right now, the 5 seed.
Sure.
Going back over to the AFC, you've got the Dolphins sitting number 2. The Chiefs are sitting number 3. Jacksonville sitting number 4, but looking at their record right there on the screen, I mean, Jacksonville's 8 and 6, Indy's 8 and 6, Houston's 8 and 6. So Jacksonville
That's
right now
anybody's ball game.
kind of holds the tiebreakers over those 2. Cleveland sitting at number 5, Bengals number 6, Colts number 7, and then like we talked about on the bubble, you've got the Texans and the Bills. So we talked about that already. I would love to see the Colts get knocked out of there and have the Bills or really even the Texans move into that 7 spot. The Colts do nothing for me. Over in the NFC, like I said, you had those 3 that have already clinched, and then you got the Lions sitting at number 3, the Buccaneers sitting at number 4, Vikings number 6. That's hard to believe, and the Rams. Hey, Rams sitting 7th right now, and then on the bubble you got the Saints and the Seahawks.
I'm not sold with what's going to happen with the playoffs. Again, we're 3 weeks out after today. We're 3 weeks out, and I just don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously a few teams have clinched. 49ers, Eagles, and Cowboys, I think, are the only teams that have clinched.
That's your top-heavy NFC.
That's the top-heavy NFC, and then Baltimore on the other side.
I would include the Lions in that top-heavy as well.
They're gonna get it done.
I don't quite include the Buccaneers sitting at 7 and 7.
No, you can't.
But I do with the Lions. They're sitting 10 and 4. They've lost 1 or 2 games that they should have won, like against Chicago.
Yeah.
They kind of were a stink bug against them. But
Yeah, Chicago
I still
got the best of them.
I still
they just
consider-
played a good game.
I still consider Detroit one of the top heavy teams in NFC. AFC, I'm not convinced that the Ravens are the best team in the AFC. I love the Dolphins. Obviously, you've always got to be careful of a Patrick Mahomes-led Chiefs team. I think beyond there, those are your three real contenders. Jacksonville, I think, is close to be a true Super Bowl contender, not a playoff contender. They're already there. But to be a true Super Bowl contender, I don't think they're there yet.
Understandable.
Mm.
Understandable. We'll see, man. There's still a lot of football left. I know 3 weeks doesn't seem like a lot, but when you look at the standings and the way that they are right
there
now,
can be a lot of movement.
there's a lot of movement
Yeah.
that can happen still. So I'm excited about it, man. I'm excited. Hey, we're going to take a break. We've got one more segment before we wrap things up here on From the Bleachers. Stick around. Back at it here in the Findlay Hyundai studio. Caden Formaster, Mark Musgrave.
The voice you know.
And on the phone, we have Devin Dixon. Things are heating up over there at Wingnuts as we're getting ready for Eagles, Seahawks. It's a Monday night.
Absolutely, guys. Double baked wings and football. Nothing better on a Monday night. You know what I'm saying? Mark, you love the double baked wings, don't you?
Double baked is where it's at, baby.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Paul's with me for the morning show. Prediction, Paulie. Paulie, double baked wings?
They're great. I can't say a bad thing about them, honestly.
Hey,
give me
Paulie,
a pick for.
can you say anything
Give me a
bad
pick.
about the Seahawks?
I am going to go with the Eagles tonight, minus the 4.5, and A.J. Brown to score an anytime touchdown. Those are my locks tonight, fellas.
Okay, there's just locks.
I like that.
Wow.
I like that, Paul.
Sucking up to Caden, huh, Paulie?
Uh-huh. Me and Paul are buds.
I'm not even pandering to Caden the slightest. I think the Eagles are going to have a nice bounce back game today.
There we go. There we go. I love it. I love it.
Okay, let's check with some of the fans here at Wingnuts. I got my buddy Marty here. Marty, who you got tonight? Eagles all the way. Really?
Okay.
The wife said Eagles all the way.
There's two
He's
Eagles.
listening to his wife. That's the recipe for disaster.
Wow, that's for sure.
Let's ask the wife who she's got. Who do you have, wifey?
Well, the Eagles, of course.
Oh, my
wow.
God. Caden, how many people
Oh, my
did you
gosh.
pay to come to Wingnuts tonight?
Sheesh.
Plenty, apparently. Yeah. No, I'm loving this.
Oh, my gosh. Hey, Seahawks 27-24. Mark it down. It's a lock.
It's whoa, hey, all right.
Paul says it's a lock. Devin says it's a lock. So
It looks like Gino's going to play, man, and Gino we trust. Let's go. I think everybody loves the Eagles. Fade the public, baby. Fade the public.
Yeah, I'm with you. Hey, Double D, I'm cheering for the Hawks tonight, bro.
Yeah, I mean, I am too, but I am a little bit scared about the rushing game. How many brotherly shoves do you foresee happening tonight?
Let's go with like 3. Not a lot. I'm going like 3.
Okay. Do you think DeAndre Swift will score a touchdown, Caden?
Sure. Yeah. Why not?
Yeah, I do too. I think in any Paulie likes that AJ Brown anytime
Yeah,
touchdown. Jalen.
I'm with that.
Jalen's got
AJ Brown's always
love.
getting
I like
touchdowns.
the run game. I like DeAndre tonight.
I think
So
I'm
we'll
gonna
see.
say you're gonna see if there are 4 touchdowns from the Eagles, it's gonna be AJ Brown, Swift, Jalen's taking one in himself, and Devontae Smith.
Yeah, we'll see. Hey, but anyway, guys, I know we're short on time here, but code words tonight. If you come to Wingnuts, this is our final Monday Night Football party of the year. So if you've never came and joined us, we'd love to see you. If you came every week, we want to see you again. But code words are easy tonight. Randall Cunningham, Jim Zorn. You tell us those. Extra raffle tickets to win the drawings at halftime. Also, we've got prizes for or extra raffle tickets for jerseys. If you wear an Eagles or a Seahawks jersey, we'll hook you up. And then, $1,000 in jersey giveaways. Kenneth Walker Seahawks jersey tonight. We got some Wasatch Brewing Company. We got some Prime IV. We got Dixie Rex. We got Fabulous Freddy's. We got some Eureka gift cards. We got Sky Mountain Golf. Hey, we got some gift certificates to Silver Reef Brewing Company. We got Annie's food. Go get a Cinnabon at the Eureka. We got some buffet tickets. We've also got some Intermountain Sports Performance $100 training cash. I'm telling you guys, and that's just the start. Dixie Direct books, Fabulous Freddy's car washes, $1,000+ in prizes tonight. So if you're listening right now, you come to Wingnuts, and you're thinking about coming. Hopefully that pushes you over the edge, and you guys come hang with us tonight.
Awesome. All right, we'll send people your way as we're getting just a few minutes now from kickoff.
Yeah. Hey, Caden.
Yeah,
Go
bud.
Hawks. And Mark, go Hawks.
There you go, baby.
Go Birds.
Wow.
He says he's nervous. I'll take it. Yeah, that game is coming up here in just a little bit, about 20 or so minutes away now, and should be a good one. Get on over to Wingnuts. Get those wings double baked.
Yeah, that's the way to do it. It is the way to do it. Hey, so if you ever wanted to be a part of the Guinness Book of World Records, here are a few of the kind of the strange ones this year.
Okay.
The loudest burp by a female.
Well, you and I cannot compete.
Nope. The record is 107.3 decibels.
That sounds
So
doable.
you can definitely do.
I don't know how loud 107 decibels is, but
Do I want to say that I think Maxie could do it? I just did.
try it out.
Oh, my goodness.
Try it out.
Long distance, full body burn without oxygen. That's basically running on fire. Okay. The record is 272 meters, or just over 893 feet. I am looking at a picture right now of a guy in a suit on fire.
Running on a track.
Yes, running on a track. So
that's a big no thank you for
again,
me.
there are
Not
some
happening.
really, really good Guinness Book of World Records if you wanted to be part of it. Most
All right.
spoons balanced on the body. The record is 88. Spoons on your body. Now, apparently, I think you have to be standing up, but yeah.
Interesting. I was going to say, if you're laying down, that would actually be really easy.
Correct. Yeah.
Very interesting.
Anyway, kind of stupid.
Good records.
Yeah.
Good records. I've never tried to break any sort of Guinness World Record. That's never been on my to-do list in life. But maybe someday. Who knows?
You never know.
I'm not going to say no, All right, well, we're wrapping it up from here, from the studio. Again, head on over to Wingnuts tonight, Monday Night Football, Eagles, Seahawks. Get on over there and catch the game. Eat some good food. It's always a good time. Again, we're out of here. We'll be with you again tomorrow. We'll see you then. Have a good one.